Attention. Due to the nature of the films discussed, the Civil Gore podcast may contain adult language and themes.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 82 of the Civil Gore podcast. I am your host, Tim.
And I'm your other host, a recovering Brian. So if my voice is way less dulcety than Tim's today, it's because I'm just getting over a cold. So I'm going to be a little bit more gravelly, pretty much more New Yorker, I guess, right?
That's good, though, yeah. You have that authentic New York style going on.
Right. You know what I mean? So I may also just, with this gravelly voice could bust into like a Joe Cocker impersonation at any time. So beware, So Tim, we might as well get started. So why don't you lift us up where we belong? No, okay. That was terrible. And
we lose a bunch of listeners right off the bat.
Yeah, and there
Thanks,
they
Brian.
go.
We just got back.
Yeah, they mass exited us. Right as I started that, but yeah.
So we are recording a little late this week because I took my birthday off.
Yes, another happy birthday. I will not sing for you though, Tim.
That's fine.
Because as you just heard, that's probably would not be a wise idea.
No, the only reason I mentioned that was because I wanted to thank everybody for all the birthday wishes I got. I was overwhelmed with the amount of happy birthdays I got on my birthday. It was really incredible. All the people that tweeted and Instagrammed and Facebooked. So I really appreciate it.
Even my mom, who has not met you yet.
Yeah, it was just people were coming out of the woodwork to wish me happy birthday. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of listeners and fellow podcasters. It was very exciting. Yeah. Tim got a lot of good birthday love.
A lot of
as deserved.
Love. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I had a really good birthday. It was kind of low key, but that's kind of how I wanted it. Because we had. I went out to a really nice dinner. My wife took me out to a really nice dinner while my mom kept the kids, and then we had like a little birthday celebration because the kids don't consider it a birthday unless you have cake.
So I have to agree with them.
Yeah, so we had a ice cream cake, which I love. That's my favorite. So from Baskin Robbins. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, we had a really really good birthday. So I appreciate all that.
Yeah, see, around here it would be Carvel, and it'd have to be like Cookie Puss or something,
or the whale. Fudgy the Whale.
Yeah. Because since you are a dad, you could get the whale of a dad cake, and it would still be appropriate.
There you go.
Or the Thai cake, which apparently was still the same mold as the whale cake. They just designed it differently. So you guys didn't get Carvel, right?
No, I've heard of it, but it's all Baskin Robbins down here.
Yeah, no, because Carvel used to have the best guy. He used to do the commercials. This is Tom Carvel. And, he sounded like he was, literally, wheezing all over your ice cream. It was pretty exciting.
Awesome. But, I'm sad I missed that.
Yeah. That's the price you pay of not being a local.
That's right.
Where there's a Carvel,
All right, guys. Well, let's get right to it. This is our first chop. So, Brian, I've only got 2 movies left for my alphabet project, which I'm kind of sad because I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do next, but I think I am going to go back into the backlog project full bore. I've been really trying to crank out some discs lately because I passed up a ton of Black Friday deals. Oh. There were some Blu-rays literally on Amazon for $4 that I passed up on because my backlog was I was like, no, I made a promise I would finish these. The only exception I made was the Invisible Man set because we're collecting all the Universal monsters. I had to grab that one while it was on sale, but other.
Oh, that's right, and you got me to get it too.
Right, yeah. So that's the only exception I've made, but I've been really, really good about not buying new movies. But that's in a couple of weeks. First, we have to get through letters Y and Z. And for Y, this is another one of those hard letters, which Z is going to be probably a zombie movie, I would imagine.
Yeah, right.
Y was a little bit difficult, but I decided to watch a Kevin Smith movie that I had not seen. One of the few Kevin Smith movies I haven't seen. And that was Y is for Yoga Hosers. Now, I don't know if this one's... It's very horror adjacent. IMDb classifies it as a horror comedy. Very much more comedy than horror, I would say.
Yeah.
But this is one of the rare Kevin Smith misfires for me. I'm a big fan of his, but this one just, for some reason, I could not grasp the humor in this one. It just...
Well, did you see Tusk?
I did not see Tusk. That is...
See, it's in the Tusk universe.
Okay.
This movie takes place. I guess he was doing a Canadian trilogy type of thing.
Right.
This was kind of like a pseudo sequel because the characters, the main characters, which was his daughter and they were in in Tusk.
Okay. So see, I was probably missing a lot of context there then.
There might be like that Johnny Depp character
Yeah.
was in Tusk. So yeah, there's a little bit of and I don't think that I'm still a proponent where that movie should have still been able to stand on its own.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there might have been some definitely jokes that you might have got, or like kind of felt a little bit more attachment to the characters if you'd seen Tusk.
Yeah,
possibly.
maybe I'll have to go back and watch that one, because this one I was like, this was completely over my head in terms of what they were going for. Like the Canadian humor. I'm not Canadian. I don't really know like what makes that fun. I mean, obviously I know from How I Met Your Mother and stuff, they made a lot of Canadian jokes, and I got a Canadian coworker, and we joke around and stuff. I know the broad strokes of Canadian humor, of course.
So you want a big sorry from from Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
If you saw it, did you see? I don't know if you saw the second Super Troopers, but they take that to the extreme with that humor.
Yeah. So I don't know, or maybe I just wasn't in the right mood, but this one just fell flat for me. I didn't really get it. So yeah,
it was an odd plot.
It's an odd.
I'll tell you that.
It's a Bratzies, which are Nazi bratwursts. So that come to life and they're fighting them. It's so bizarre. I don't know if I really got it. So sorry about
Although
that.
I thought the daughters did good. That's Johnny Depp's daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter as the stars. I thought they did a formidable job.
Yeah, they were great. They were
role.
great. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird movie to me. I don't know if I was just maybe not in the mood for it. I was expecting a little more horror than comedy. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah. So not the best of my selections for the Alphabet Project, but we'll try to pick a better one for next week.
You should definitely watch Tusk, though. Tusk, I liked. That was pretty cool. I think you might like that one.
Yeah, I think Tusk and this one were the only two Kevin Smith movies I had not seen to date. Were those those were like my final two I needed to watch. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's great in person. I mean, I've told that story before with him, but yeah, no, he's awesome, and so it'll yeah. I mean, you know what? He's not for everybody, and sometimes I think maybe. I would try it at like another. I'm not saying go rush to go watch it again, but see Tusk and then maybe watch this again at a later date and see if you have a different opinion. I'd be interested because like I was actually looking forward to this movie because I like Tusk so much and I knew there were going to be some shared characters. So
yeah, that's probably. I didn't realize that they were connected in any way. I'd heard of Tusk before, but I didn't realize the connection there. So
yeah, it was interesting. Like the Johnny Depp character just cracks me up though. He's funny.
All right, so we got some IP rumors. Man, this starts early, doesn't it? IP rumors for Halloween Horror Nights 2019. And one of them you could probably guess because it was a rumored one for this year. And that is, of course, Stephen King's It.
Right.
I have a strong feeling that's a very good possibility with the new movie coming out and all that.
Yeah, and Hellraiser was another one they were rumoring. And, so, that's one I don't think they've ever had a Hellraiser house. And I think that would be a killer, especially now that we saw firsthand what Universal can do with a really good IP.
Yeah.
I think a Hellraiser house would just be incredible. Like, I would actually argue that should be possibly the marquee house, like the Stranger Things house. Like, put it in that big sound stage and just do it up because there could be so many cool... I mean, I would stick with the first two.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
I would not go to the crazier sequels or sequels, and I'm you don't see me, but I'm making the quotes sign because we know how. So we've discussed this to ad nauseum there, where basically they just took other plots and kind of stuck Hellraiser in it. But doing the first two, I think, would be just great. And you could get like go walk through that cool house and the all the Cenobites coming out at you. I don't know. If they did Hellraiser, I would actually have to seriously sit and think. I'm like, is there a way we can squeeze this trip in again?
Is there a way?
I mean, it would not be. Yeah, it would not be the epic trip it was this year for us. But I could see going down there for like a one night.
Yeah, this would be like staying at the Motel 6.
Oh yeah.
Cheapest flights to Orlando possible.
Like Frontier Airline, right? We'll take the Beardman special there.
Yeah, so
take the $26 flights. Did you see that? He posted that today. There's $26 flights to Orlando in January.
It's ridiculous.
That's nuts, yeah. And then so actually though, it's funny. So this website Horror Nights tweeted. It says the Maze #1 for Halloween Horror Nights 2019 at USH. So it is at the Hollywood one. It says 1970s carpet and wallpaper designs, 2, the music of Al Bowley. What could that mean? So I looked up Al Bowley, and he's I guess a London, England musician. So I'm not sure what that means, but then so I'm wondering if there's something to do with like I don't know, 70s London. I don't know, the Clockwork Orange. I don't know.
That's weird.
Shining.
Yeah.
I don't know, something.
But they've already done the
but
Shining.
They did Shining. Yeah, they did Shining already.
So,
someone wrote you already did the Shining, so we wouldn't redo it. So they wiped that one out. If you're watching all the tweets that you can find on there, so some people are coming up with a bunch of different. Someone said Stephen King mashup maze.
That would be cool.
Someone,
I wonder if they would ever do something like a Suspiria maze, or is that just too out of the mainstream?
Yeah, I don't know how that one would do. I don't know how they would, but I don't know. It's so funny. Everyone is saying Shining. Everyone's saying Shining, and the guy even flat out said no. Oh, but someone did say American Werewolf in London. So
they've already done that one too, though.
Yeah, and that was technically 80s also.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
to go to speculate on this.
We
one.
know how those rumors
Definitely
are.
fun.
We had rumored The Thing would be in this one, and that was strongly considered, and that never came to fruition. So it's very early to tell.
Well, I'm sure we will. Even if we don't go next year, we will cover it. Now that I feel like once you go, I feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah,
forever a little bit. You know, it's like The Shining in that way. You know, it's like if you look on the walls of Halloween Horror Nights, like me and Tim's face will always be in the crowd somehow. You know, I think that's what it is. But
we did have an RIP this week. Not really strictly horror, but he does have some horror credits. This was William Goldman, who wrote tons of classic screenplays, including Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Stepford Wives, Marathon Man, The Princess Bride, one of my personal favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah, Me too.
Magic, Misery, Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher maybe not so much a classic, but
but it's in there. I just threw in those, but there are so you look at his list and it's
incredible. Yeah, he had an incredible career. So rest in peace, Mr. Goldman. This one, Brian, I had not read about that you had posted on the rundown. This was Blumhouse and Amazon Prime are partnering for 8 darkly themed thriller feature-length productions.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. So they don't give much in terms of detail kind of thing. But it's kind of like, I guess all these things are going to have the same kind of a same thematic element to it. It's going to be direct to Amazon Prime, so you're going to need that. But they said that all they note really is that there's going to be some sort of thematic link that connects all the films together, which is kind of cool. So it's almost like a little mini universe, I guess. Or actually, that implies that it doesn't imply necessarily that they're all connected that way, but the theme. So, but who knows? Who knows if that doesn't mean there's going to be a little like wink, wink, nod, nod connections to them in other ways. But I mean, they, like I said, they really don't give much. I think that's intentional. They probably want to kind of build up. Blumhouse is good at building up the excitement a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
That sounds cool. I mean, I'm always...
Yeah, I mean, listen, Blumhouse, darkly themed thriller features, I mean, that's all you need to say.
Well, speaking of darkly themed, I'm going to do something we've never done on the show, and that is recommend a Western.
Well, technically, Revelation Trail we did.
Yeah, but it was more. But I was like a horror Western. This one is a pure
True.
Western, not really
this
classified
is
as
just
horror.
straight
Western. This is The Ballad of Buster Scruggs on Netflix. This is a Coen Brothers film. I'm a big fan of the Coen Brothers. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is one of my favorite movies of all time, which is weird because I hated that movie when I saw it in the theater. Absolutely despised it. And over time, watching it on DVD, I just grew to love it. But this one is a Western, I almost said horror anthology. It is a Western anthology. So it is 6 Western tales of life in the Old West with the typical Coen Brothers quirkiness, as you can imagine. But I think horror fans will really like this movie. Every story has a very dark undertone, which I think horror fans will enjoy. I think they'll enjoy the anthology format of it. It does have some brutal violence, so you will get to see some gore. And it just has this pacing and feel of a horror movie, even though it's a Western. So I think you guys really like it. And there's a very brief cameo from one of the stars of The Witch that I'll let you guys try to figure out.
Is it Black Phillip?
No, it's not Black Phillip. Although that would be cool.
Oh.
That would definitely be cool.
He needs to kind of come in there though again. We haven't seen him in a while. I still have not been able to find his whatchamacallit, his cider that he had that we paired for the first time in Civil Gore history, and then for us not to find it is pretty frustrating.
Yeah, but check that one out, Brian. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's just a really interesting movie. Now, like any anthology, it's a little uneven. There's 2 really, really, really good segments, and there's a couple of okay segments, and maybe one like not so good segment. But in any anthology, you have to expect that kind of unevenness. But I really, really love this one. I actually want to watch it again.
Oh, I may have to check this out then.
All right, next up is one I have not checked out yet. That is Cam on Netflix.
Yeah, this is another one by from our good friends over there at Blumhouse. It's on Netflix. It's about so it's a horror thriller. I mean, there's definitely horror elements to it by for sure, but it's it's also has that line of like a really thriller type film too, where it's this girl. I guess she's one of those girls that do the I guess the cam shows on the internet.
I'm not familiar with those at all, Brian. I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was actually I was very shocked to even learn that this thing exists. But anyway, so apparently so this girl is running, and she's all about trying to get to like I guess the top 50 kind of thing. I really don't get some of the stuff that's going on with these things, but anyways, she's trying to get to a certain level, and somewhere along the lines, I guess as she's approaching her goal to get up to the high slot, all of a sudden she gets locked out of her account, and she realizes that someone's on there identical to her, stealing her identity and performing. And she's big on like where it's weird. So she's got like some friends in the outside world, I guess, that are her fans that I guess she talks to like privately too, and like they give her some ideas, or she does these kind of like death shows, she calls them, where she pretends to like kill herself because one of the guys says, "Oh, that'll be a good thing." So this other girl, like I guess that not to spoil it, but she kind of takes that up a notch, so it gets really like intense. So the whole movie's about pretty much is her, she's frantically trying to figure out what happened, like who took her identity and how she can get it back. So it's not bad. It's definitely held my interest throughout.
Interesting.
And it's like I didn't want to go like, oh right, I don't care what I actually wanted to find out if she could figure it out, and it was pretty good.
Cool. Well, this next rumor, not even a rumor, it's not a rumor, it's a
actual, this is a fact.
A Candyman remake coming from Jordan Peele, produced by Jordan Peele, we should say.
Yes.
June 12th, 2020. This is awesome. That's awesome news.
Right, and they're saying, so it's funny, I've seen some people like, they're like, oh, well, if Tony Todd's not in it, I'm not going to watch it, but they never said he wasn't in it yet. I don't think they have any kind of casting information yet.
Right.
So, I mean, can you imagine if this has Tony Todd in it?
Oh, my gosh. But even so, I mean, even if they recast Tony Todd, I could still see this working on some level. Because Candyman's not a franchise that was so safe. It's not like Robert Englund and Freddy Krueger. It's not that level of icon that you couldn't recast it. I mean, yes, as old school fans, we definitely want Tony Todd.
Yeah, and that character is synonymous.
Yeah, but I could see how you could do a remake with a different casting and give Tony Todd a cameo or a bigger co-star part or something and still make it work.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, just knowing it, like I pretty much after how good Get Out was, I mean, I look forward to anything by Jordan Peele. So,
yeah.
I mean, with that new Twilight Zone, I hear some good things coming out about when that there were little tidbits leak out about how that I'm looking forward to. So this I'm definitely looking forward to, and I guess this is right. He's got a 3-picture deal, so this is I guess number 2.
Yeah.
Or is this part of that? Not even
I don't
part
know.
Of that deal.
Maybe I don't know. I would imagine it would be part of it, but who knows?
Yeah. Either way, I hope he just keeps.
I mean, he's got a career ahead of him. Who cares what the deal is? He's going to be cranking them out now. So
yeah, I mean, to jump into the horror genre the way he did and how fixed into it he is now, forget it. He, hopefully he just has plenty more up his sleeve.
And our final bit on the rundown is that our good friend of the show, David Howard Thornton, will be at WinterCon this weekend. Brian, you're going to try to get to this one?
Yes, it's over at the Resort Worlds Casino over there by JFK. It seems like a pretty small con in general. I mean, they have some good panels there. There's a lot of Star Wars things. There's a lot of comic book artists. I think Sean Astin is like one of the headliners, and they have some WWE wrestlers there. But the venue itself, I don't think can hold a lot for a con. But I don't know. I've never seen it that way. I've been to the casino. It's it's a lot of those video slots and stuff like that. But it's close, so it's only a half hour away. So I think Julie and I are going to try and head over there Sunday. So hopefully we'll and of course we'll swing by Mr. Art the Clown himself's table there and say hello.
Well, sometimes those smaller cons are kind of cool because you're not as crowded, and sometimes you kind of have better direct access and that kind of stuff. So
right, and Sunday's usually a lesser day, and this is only Saturday and Sunday, and it's only $25 to get in. So that alone, like the scheduling and the price point, kind of can give you a clue on how this con will be. It'll be. I'm actually excited because Vanessa Marshall, she does the voice of Hera on Rebels, is going to be there too, which is kind of cool. So that's always one of my favorite characters of the show, and they actually have a Star Wars Rebels panel, which is interesting. So between that and DHT there, that should be a fun thing. So I'll definitely have to, of course, swing by and say hello and thank him again for appearing on our show.
Yeah,
it was a good episode.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into our Discmemberment. Now, we skipped last week, but we will give you a brief rundown of what you missed in last week's show when we just did a Thanksgiving 3 commentary, I should say.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. This is our Discmemberment.
Wait, no, please, God. No, don't call up,
All right, these are the Blu-ray releases for December 4th, 2018. So, had the wrong date on there, Brian, but
no. And I didn't even
managed to
catch it.
fix
Look
it on the fly. That's the joy of
Look at
live podcasting.
There you go.
So last week, we didn't have a big Discmemberment, so you didn't miss a whole lot, but there were a few good releases. First up, we had the TV collection of Picnic at Hanging Rock. This was the Amazon Prime series. And this one I really enjoyed this one. I like this one. I think I talked about it on one of the shows. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's strictly a horror, but it's very creepy and unsettling would be the better term. So check that one out. If you don't have Prime, it's a good way to see it. They released a 3D version of The Meg. They released one that I was really interested in. This would have definitely been my pick of the week, was the Critters collection. This is a Critters box set, which includes Critters, Critters 2, the main course, Critters 3, You Are What They Eat. Which
they have the best that
might be one of the best subtitles I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And Critters 4.
Where I guess they decided they were all out of creativity for the subtitles.
But this one seemed to have some pretty good features on it and stuff, and I've never seen any of the Critters sequels. Just the first one.
Yeah, and so you need it to go with your critter that I got you for the holidays last year. You could have a nice box set with him on top of it.
I know, and he has a place of honor up on my horror shelf, so he's still sitting up there. I'm looking at him right now. Next up, we had Zombie, a.k.a. Zombie 2, a.k.a. Zombie Flesh Eaters. This is the Fulci zombie, the famous one with the zombie fighting the shark and all that. Actually, we talked about it on the show recently because I just watched it.
Yeah.
So that one came out in a Blu-ray.
Too bad. You should have waited.
I know.
For the Z.
And then finally one that I don't know much about called What Keeps You Alive. So
I'd say listening to Civil Gore.
Probably. That's probably one of the 5 major things you need to survive. Civil Gore would be one of them. Maybe not the top, but it'd be up there.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess technically Kim and Kat too, right? Because they teach you how to stay alive.
That's
maybe,
right. Yeah,
but we don't know.
All right, so this week we have not a huge list, but we have a couple of cool ones on here. First up is The Nun, one which I have not gotten to see yet.
Me either.
2018.
This is my pick of the week, probably just because I know I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm gonna do another pick of the week, but I don't know.
Oh, I know what yours is, but
yeah. This one is Warner Brothers, directed by Corin Hardy, starring Demian Bichir. Here we go. Demian, I haven't mispronounced names in a while. Demian Bichir, Thaisa Farmiga, and Jonas Bloquet. And you know what? Bloquet is a term for a bunch of balloons.
Is it really?
No. But it sounds like it could be, doesn't it?
You got me there. I don't know. Maybe.
For my
Why
birthday,
not?
I got a bouquet of balloons.
Well, a bouquet. Yeah, I mean, I get it.
A priest with a haunted past and a novice on the threshold of her final vows. Oh, by the way, Brian, I was corrected by Ken.
He's always coming up with our good fact check.
Yes, he fact checked me. When we were discussing that nun movie the other week, and we were talking about a novice, and he was like, "A novice of what? What are we talking?" A novice is the term for a pre-nun, I guess, a young nun.
Really?
Yeah, that's an actual term, a novice.
So I wonder if did that come first, and then just everyone else incorporated novice as a beginner?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Ken, you're listening. Fact check us on that one. I don't want to know the answer.
I learned something new. I did not know that. I don't know much about Catholicism.
Good.
Sorry.
He also told us where Busan was way back in the day.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, he will constantly correct our show.
Yeah. No, he's good. We need Ken like that.
Yes, we do.
We need
Kens and cones.
We almost need to have him review the episodes. Once we get bigger, we'll put him on the payroll, and he can review every episode before it goes out.
Yeah, he'll be our fact checker. That's right. Yeah, you gotta have this.
Right.
So a priest with a haunted past and a novice on the threshold of her final vows are sent by the Vatican to investigate the death of a young nun in Romania and confront a malevolent force in the form of a demonic nun. As with most Warner Brothers releases, this is not like a collector's edition, but you do get 3 featurettes, it looks like, and over 10 minutes of deleted scenes. So that's not shabby for a new release.
That's a lot of deleted scenes.
Yeah, 10 minutes of deleted scenes. That's pretty good, yeah.
It's mostly because if you think about it, a lot of and most deleted scenes are about 30 seconds. Sometimes those extended sequences, but most of the deleted scenes are 20, 30 seconds. So that gives you a decent amount there.
This next one is going to be my pick of the week, and I don't know why, other than
because it's your birthday.
Well, it's got Donald Sutherland in it, so I had to pick it. I don't know,
but he's not listed on the starring.
Oh, I picked the wrong one. Sorry, I scrolled down too far. I jumped ahead. I spoiled it. Spoiler alert: Donald Sutherland is in one of our.
Okay, see now that makes less sense because when I said, "Oh, was it because your birthday?" Because the next title is Bloody Birthday.
I don't know what Bloody Birthday is.
Yeah, I don't know, but Cone said you should watch it. I saw him; he tweeted.
Okay, well, it's an early '80s slasher, so I have to watch it, I guess. So
yeah,
Bloody Birthday from 1981. This is an Arrow release, directed by Ed Hunt. Starring Lori Lethin, Melinda Cordell, and Downtown Julie Brown.
I was going to say, is that Downtown
It's
Julie
not
Brown
Downtown Julie Brown. I looked her up. It's not
the other Julie Brown?
It's the other Julie Brown. But I thought that would be fun to say.
Yeah, because everyone knows. For our generation, of course, it was Downtown Julie Brown.
I love Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding? Yeah.
Oh, I liked, I had a crush on Martha. What's her name?
Martha Quinn?
Martha Quinn, yeah.
Remember she played, I think Bobby Brady's girlfriend on that, short-lived Brady's TV show.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? She came out of the woodwork to do that. So.
Yeah. Martha Quinn was awesome.
Yeah, but once again, we find a way to somehow get something that you would never think that you would hear on the show about the TV show The Brady's on here. But yeah.
We're just a fount of knowledge.
We are.
So the synopsis of this one: 3 children are born at the height of an eclipse of the sun.
Total eclipse of the sun. Sorry, I couldn't.
Turn around. Oh, that's a different song, isn't it?
No, I was doing Little Shop.
Oh.
Remember?
I thought you were doing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh God, no. Yeah, no. This was remember that you saw Little Shop of Horrors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that when they did that whole sequence?
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe I'm on a different level of I channeled my inner remember because Mike had just seen the performance of Little Shop, so I guess that's
Have you seen the Total Eclipse of the Heart video?
The original? Oh, I'm sure I have back in the
it's
day.
It's crazy. It's got, it's like, turn around, bright eyes. It's got these people with light coming out of their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember it.
It's very scary.
I like the Dan Band version of that. Did you ever hear that version?
No.
It's basically like, the Dan Finnery guy. He was he was the band in Old School. And that's where I think he actually sang it in that one. And then he was the band at the end of Hangover.
Oh, I'll have to go look that up.
Remember that guy? Where he basically curses. Yeah, it's great. He just adds he just keeps adding profanity to the songs. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
You gotta say, yeah.
So okay, we'll get through the synopsis at some point.
Yeah, sorry, we went way off here. Okay,
10 years later. Okay, kids born, Eclipse of the Sun. 10 years later, they begin to murder the people around them, even their family members. So a killer kid movie. That sounds good. So this one has a brand new 2K restoration. I'm going to skip the subtitle. Of course they got subtitles, whatever.
Yeah.
A brand new audio commentary with director Ed Hunt. A brand new audio commentary with The Hysteria Continues. I don't know what that is. A podcast?
I know. Yeah, is it?
A brand new interview with actress Lori Lethin. A brand new video appreciation of Bloody Birthday and the Killer Kids subgenre by film journalist Chris Alexander. So
that's
cool.
Close. He's just not a film historian.
No, not a historian, just a journalist.
He might have to wait a while, and then he become
He doesn't get the stamp of approval.
He's a journalist. No, not yet.
An archival interview with producer Max Rosenberg, an original theatrical trailer, and a reversible sleeve featuring newly commissioned artwork by Timothy Pittids. I don't know, Pittids.
Yeah. By the way, Lori Lethin was also in another one of our Civil Gore favorites, Return to Horror High.
Oh, that's right.
I knew her name looked familiar, so I went to look it up. She was the, I guess, one of the main girls in it. So.
And if you jump on the first pressing of this, you'll get a collector's booklet featuring new writing by Lee Gamby.
How do you know when the first pressing is?
I don't know. You just grab it quick. So when it comes out Tuesday, go grab it.
They're not numbered, I see. So it's like the first pressing could be the only pressing.
Yeah. All right, this one's going to be my pick of the week. I've never seen this movie.
Okay, this one, now I see why. See, if I would have seen this, if I would have scrolled down, I may have made this. But I'm glad I did what I
It's got Donald Sutherland. I will watch Donald Sutherland in anything. I don't care.
Yes.
I'll watch Kiefer Sutherland in anything.
Yeah, that's what you got to see that one. I told you the Death Line. Remember the one that's on Oh no, I'm sorry, Donald. In my head I'm thinking Donald Pleasance.
Oh, that's right.
You're
Yeah,
Donald Sutherland. I'm totally wow.
It's still
right,
two
Tim and I are
equally
off.
good Donalds.
Yeah, think of that. Well, that makes up for your confusion with a Bonnie Tyler song to Little Shop of Horrors, the movie.
That's right. Okay.
And then now I got the Donalds confused. It happens.
All right, so
we're a little tired tonight.
Well, we've been off a week, so it takes a little while to get back in the swing of things.
It does. Trying to digest all that pumpkin pie.
That's right. The Puppet Masters from 1994. This is not The Puppet Master, or Puppet Master 2 through 12 or whatever they're at.
It's not in that series.
The Puppet Masters, 1994, released by Kino Lorber, directed by Stuart Orme. I won't say Orme. It might be Orm. Yeah. I think Orme sounds more
fancier.
Fancy, yeah. Starring Donald Sutherland, Eric Thal, and Julie Warner. The Earth is invaded by stingray-shaped alien slugs that ride on people's backs and control their minds. What is it with Donald Sutherland and things controlling their mind?
Yeah,
that's probably why he's in this one. They probably were like,
they're like, we need the expert.
Yeah.
We need someone who's done this before.
Special features and audio commentary by director Stuart Orm with film editor David Yardley.
You're still stuck on that guy.
I can't get past his name. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah,
we need a name pronunciation person, but then that would make the show less fun.
Oh God, no. Yeah, you can't take. Listen, we're clinging to the last bit of humor we have left.
That's right.
Let this one go.
Robert A. Heinlein, The Puppet Grandmaster, a documentary with Spectrum Literary Agency agent Eleanor Wood, author and screenwriter David Gerald, author Brad Lineweaver, and Robert Gleason, the executive editor of Tor Forge Books and the author of The Evil That Men Do. Did you get all that?
A lot of title dropping here.
Wow.
Jeez.
Get Slugged with Julie Warner, featurette. Strange Invasion with Keith David. Alien Me, Alien You with Richard Belzer.
Wait, is he in this movie? Well, because I don't see him in that starring thing. And now he's got his own featurette.
Larry Odion Pulls the Strings, The Practical Effects of the Puppet Masters. Science Fantasy and Softcore Porn. Limited edition booklet essay by author and literary critic Samuel R. Delaney.
I guess that's the first printing also? Yeah.
I don't know if I want Donald Sutherland and softcore porn in the same paragraph. I don't know.
That's a good mix.
That's a little troubling.
Maybe he's not in that scene.
Newly commissioned art by Jacob Phillips, an animated photo gallery of creature design images, a limited edition O-card slipcase. I still don't know what that is.
I know.
I've seen it in other releases, but
O-card. I mean, could it be like a mini lobby card or something? I don't know.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
O-card.
I'm too lazy to look it up. Maybe I'll look it up for next week.
I'm afraid that once you type O and then dash, you don't know what you're going to get after it. So
this is my O-card.
Yeah,
reversible art theatrical trailer.
That's a card when you're really excited to see the movie. Yeah. You put that one out. Yeah.
Okay, this next one, I could not find a synopsis, so I figured we would make up our own synopsis.
Oh, that's a new game. Maybe we should start playing. Maybe one of the synopsises you should leave out.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about this once, actually?
We thought about
something
just
along
giving
this
the
line.
title, and then you would have to guess what it was, and then you would have to watch the movie and see how right or wrong you were.
Right, but maybe we should do like another little version of this, where every time you do a dismember, you leave one title, you leave it blank, but you see it on your end.
Yeah.
And you just give me the pieces, and let me see how close I can get.
Okay, that sounds good. That's actually a good game. That would actually be a good podcast concept, actually. But so this one is called Corpse Prison Part 2. I don't know what happened to Part 1. It's not on the release
Maybe it's
schedule.
like Thanksgiving, and maybe it never existed.
There is a Part 1. I looked it up on IMDb.
Oh.
This is just Part 2 is being released. From 2017.
And
I'll
good
give
luck
you,
with
I'll
these
give you
names.
some clues.
Okay.
Switchblade Pictures, directed by Hideo Jojo. Moimi Katayama, starring Moimi Katayama, Anna Tachibana, and Shinichi Wago.
Now, those you got perfect. That's so funny. Those are like perfectly said and
So-
everything.
So obviously this is Spanish.
Yes, of course. But I
No,
mean,
okay,
that's
so obviously it's
instantly-
Japanese. So
yeah.
what is this movie about, Brian? Corpse Prison Part 2.
Okay. Well,
Don't leave out the events of Part 1 because we have to.
Yes.
You got to catch us up.
yeah. So part 1, there was obviously a corpse prison, and someone survived the end, and now this is their story as they try and navigate out of the corpse prison that they were left alive for, I guess, because the corpses would imply they're dead. So,
What is a corpse prison? Can you explain that?
I really take it as a zombie outbreak in a jail. That's the way I think about this. That's what I envision for this.
Okay.
Where it's like, and like the one like guard is the one, or no, I take that back. No. The guard there's a good guard in there that kind of helps the main character, but the main character is someone that was wrongly accused and put in jail, but yet he saves everybody.
Okay.
He can, I guess.
All right.
Am I even close?
So you are completely wrong.
Okay, that's not a shocker.
You're completely wrong. So this is I'm trying to read this while I'm telling you.
Okay.
From the moment she and her fellow students arrive in the mountain village of Yasaka, Makoto knows that there is something very wrong with this tiny town. Can it really be true that for 50 years, not a single girl has been born in this isolated community? Despite the fact that Mayor Amano and other all-male residents have enthusiastically welcomed her and the other 3 co-eds attending Professor Ashihara's overnight seminar, Makoto can't shake the sense of increasing dread that consumes her. Something horrible has happened here. Something that is about to happen again, because the town has been waiting for her and the other girls.
So I guess I took the corpse prison a little too literally.
Yes. All right, so that's Corpse Prison.
Okay,
So-
so part 2 then, based now on that knowledge, part 2 is 3 more girls show up.
No, that was part 2.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
two.
that was part
okay.
2. So
Oh my god, so what happened in part 1?
I don't know. I guess
That
it's a
seems
prequel.
like that would be part 1.
I know. I don't know.
Unless part 2 was the 3 new girls and the first one had 3 other girls in it.
What
I
a-
can't believe this. We spent literally there's been no true synopsis on this thing. We spent 25 minutes on and now I have to go hunt these 2 down to see
I
this
know.
movie.
Oh, that's gonna
Thanks
be
a
fun.
lot,
we're
Tim.
definitely gonna do this for other weeks. Next one up is Sleigh Bells. Bells.
I get it.
2018. You can't have a Christmas horror movie without a pun. Come on.
No, and look, it's like there's all like code names, like fancy names, and the
it's-
starring too.
This is released by Epic Pictures, directed by Dan Walker, aka Spooky Dan Walker. I'm not
This
making
guy's
that up.
excited.
It's
I know,
Spooky
but that's
Dan.
what's funny. It's like this guy thought he's like, I'll fool them all. They won't get me confused with the other Dan Walkers that you know.
Yeah. I'll take a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror name. They'll never find me.
He should have went Dan the Walker Dead, but okay.
Yeah, Yeah. They can't all be as good at puns as we are, Brian.
I know, yeah.
Starring Barry Bostwick, Christina Klebe, and Susan
from
Slaughter.
Halloween. Christina Klebe's awesome. She was in remember the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Yeah, oh, you're right, yeah. And then Susan Slaughter, which is a great name.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's Christmas Eve, and 3 cosplaying women come across the malevolent Christmas demon Krampus. The girls must team up with Santa Claus himself to battle the creature and save the world.
Is this the new Kurt Russell Santa Claus, or is this just?
Oh my god! Have you watched that yet?
No,
it's amazing.
No. Really? It's good.
Okay, I'm sorry. We got to talk about Christmas Chronicles.
Okay.
So I love Christmas movies. Sorry.
Oh no, I do too. I just like
and like the cheesier the better. Like the more Christmas movie tropes that are in them, like the better.
So you like Ernest Saves Christmas? Like
oh God, one of my favorite Christmas movies ever.
Mine too. I can watch. I watch that every year. Not a year goes by I do not watch that.
Yeah. So
I saw it in the theater too.
So imagine every Christmas trope you can think of. Santa's sleigh breaking down. Christmas is in jeopardy. Kids have to help him save it. Santa Claus is not your normal Santa Claus.
Someone doesn't believe.
Somebody doesn't believe. He knows the adults' names. And they're just surprised, and then they're like, "Oh, is this the real Santa Claus? Because he knows my name, and he knows what I asked for when I was 10." It's got all of that, but add on, evil corporation guy.
Oh, yeah, that's like Santa Claus the movie.
Magical elves. I mean, everything. It's all combined, and then you add Kurt Russell playing a Santa Claus version of Kurt Russell, or a Kurt Russell version of Santa Claus. So.
I think either work.
Yeah, he's playing a Santa Claus that is like this kind of badass. That he's not very overweight. He's kind of buff for eating the amount of cookies he does, and he's kind of got this Kurt Russell attitude to him. I
like that.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. It's
so it's like Big Trouble in Little North Pole kind of thing.
Yeah, it's everything. Brother came in and was like, "Is this like Escape from the North Pole or like Escape from New York?" I mean, everybody's making Kurt Russell.
We all go right to like the Kurt Russell.
Yeah, everybody's like making Kurt Russell movie comparisons. But yeah, if you wanted to see Kurt Russell play Santa Claus, like he plays a Kurt Russell version of Santa Claus.
So would you say he goes overboard?
Perhaps.
Okay.
But yeah, it's now. Don't get me wrong. It's a very cheesy movie.
But that's what those are.
That's what they are. You have to accept that. I mean,
so let me ask you, because this is the one things that fascinate me always because obviously with the Santa Claus movies, they all have their own way of showing how things get done, and but the sack, so his sack in the movie. Do they have how do they explain how every single present gets into one same size sack that's in every movie?
Oh, it's amazing. There's a whole thing around Kurt Russell's sack.
There, as those were coming out of my mouth, I said, "All right, this is gonna go not North Pole, but South."
Trust me,
Pole.
Brian. Kurt Russell's sack is completely explained in this movie, so you will not have to worry about that. No, they actually have a very good. There's a whole good mythology thing around this.
Okay, Goldie Hawn will be very pleased. Because I was going to say, I always thought that the way Ernest Saves Christmas explained it, where it was like that magical ball in there, and whatever needed to come out at that moment, the ball would turn into.
No, this one's different. I don't want to spoil it, but this one's different. It's basically, but as you might expect, there's some magic involved.
Okay, there's magic in his sack?
There's magic in Kurt Russell's sack. Anybody knows that just from looking at him. But,
right, yeah, This went so wrong.
Which reminds me, we really need to do Bone Tomahawk, but
we were gonna, weren't we? We were going
to for Cannibal Week. We were.
Yeah, Cannibal Week got cut short. Our theme weeks have been getting some weird things to them. Like we, of course, with the hurricane, our Back to Ghoul Week got cut short. Our Cannibal got cut short.
Yeah,
Cannibal. See, we're talking about sack, and now Cannibal.
We have to save some movies for next year because we're definitely gonna do that one again.
Oh yeah. We'll go back to it. Yeah. So yeah, and because we're already obviously next week is next week's episode is we're already be into the holiday season, so we have a few Christmas things, and we'll tease this later. But we have something working on right now that could be an epic episode for all time or an epic disaster. We don't know.
We don't know yet.
But either way, I'm sure it will be entertaining nevertheless.
Now, we did have a theatrical release this week. This is The Possession of Hannah Grace, directed by Diedrich van Rooyen.
Which, ironically, is a nickname I heard that Goldie Hawn calls Kurt Russell's sack. But, and I'm not even drinking tonight. I'm drinking tea to get rid of this cold.
Can you imagine what Brian's like when he's actually been drinking something strong?
Oh God, no!
Actually, maybe you're funny or sober, Brian. I don't know.
I know, maybe it's just chai tea. I don't know.
This one stars Shay Mitchell, Gray Damon, which is a great horror movie name.
Yeah, it really is.
All I could think of was like, go not on them moors last year, run afoul of the Gray Damon.
Yeah. Gray Damon. Yeah, that could be like an evil version of Matt Damon. Gray Damon. Like like the Gandalf the Grey. It's like when Matt Damon gets thrown off into the pit and comes back later on. He's Gray Damon. But we've had like 32 new characters introduced today.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And Kirby Johnson. He sounds like
he's just along for the ride.
Kirby Johnson sounds like a third baseman for like the '89 Orioles.
I think he was. Actually.
Oh yeah, that was back when Kirby Johnson was playing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, he's that character, like, they spoofed in Amazon Women on the Moon, that guy that's on the thing, he's like, I just can't wait to get back to Earth to see the Brooklyn Dodgers play and eat a hot dog. He's that guy, That's where he comes in. Of course, somehow we've had these zany cast of characters in a possession movie that looks actually kind of scary, which is kind of funny.
So,
but, yeah.
When a cop who is just out of rehab takes a graveyard shift at a city hospital morgue, she faces a series of bizarre violent events caused by an evil entity in one of the corpses.
Just one of them, at least.
This sounds to me kind of like the autopsy of Jane Doe.
That's what you know. What
reminds me of, kind of.
It does, and it like that description almost. I think it's very similar, actually. So,
yeah,
interesting.
So,
okay.
Anyway,
I'll have to see that one.
I hope other people enjoy this show as much as we do.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I think are we just amusing ourselves? I don't know.
Even if so, well,
I'm still laughing about Kurt Russell's sack.
Oh yeah, that will be talked about many. If you think that is the last mention of that in this episode.
Oh gosh.
Oh, by the way, since we haven't said it yet, I like beer.
I like beer. I'm drinking a second beer. Yeah. Celebration Ill. I like beer. I like celebrating. I like celebrating with beer.
And Kurt Russell's sack. Okay.
Oh.
Well, we actually watched a movie. We actually have a movie for this.
We actually do have a movie. All right, so our last week of Cannibal Month is going to be Motel Hell from 1980, directed by Kevin Connor, starring Rory Calhoun, Paul Link. Is it Linka? Because I've heard people say Linka.
I want to say, yeah, that's. I think it's Linka.
I don't think it's just Link. I think it's Linka.
No, it's not Link. Yeah, it's Linka. That E is there for a reason.
Yeah. So Paul Linka and Nancy Parsons, a seemingly friendly farmer and his sister, kidnap unsuspecting travelers and bury them alive, using them to create the special meat they are famous for, because it takes all kinds of critters to make farmers Vincent's fritters.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say with Uncle Vincent's fritters. It's Farmer Vincent's fritters. Yes.
Here's what's amazing to me, Brian, is that you see so many of these early. This isn't a slasher per se, but you see so many of these early 80s horror films. I'm talking about really early, 1980, 81. And the plot lines are so, like, interesting and complex and different. And, like, it's just kind of amazing to me that, you think of the 80s slasher formula or whatever throughout the decade, which was kind of set up by Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween and all those. But there was really, like, a wide variety of interesting plot lines going on. They were quite complex in some cases.
Yeah, they were, and some of them almost to the point of where you're like, at the time you're probably watching them and you say, "What is this?" But then when you look back on it now after seeing so many things that rehashing the same thing, you actually appreciate it more. You look back and you're like, "Wow, this is kind of interesting. This went a way different way than I thought," and this is going on in the background, which really seemingly doesn't really need to be in this movie, perhaps always, but I like it, because it's something different.
Now, this is one of those movies that I resisted renting when I was a kid because it scared me. The cover of this scared me because it showed, like, the heads in the garden, like the people planted, and for some reason, like, it freaked me out. I didn't want to watch this movie. Like, I thought
you didn't like that when it was...
No, like, the cover of this movie freaked me out, and I would not watch it. I did not actually see this. I don't think I saw this until DVD. I don't think I ever saw it on VHS.
Oh, I grew up with this movie in some ways because this was one of the first horror movies that used to always play a lot on the movie channel when I had cable in my room.
Yeah.
When I used to watch like Friday the 13th, the original, and this one. And I remember I used to watch this over and over again. I loved this one. Then I hadn't seen it for years. And then obviously when DVD started coming out, I got it on DVD. And of course we both got that really good Blu-ray version of it. And so, it's just one of those, like, I always knew it someday if I ever had a collection, this would be definitely a key piece in the horror genre. Because I had just so many. And I hadn't seen it in a while since when we just watched it. And I was like, it brought me back. Like, I'm like, oh, God, I remember this movie so well now. And I hadn't seen it in forever, but it just all came back, like, so fast. It was great.
Ever since I bought the Blu-ray collector's edition, I've literally watched this movie about 6 times. Once just to see it. Yeah. And then I watched it, for the commentaries, because there's like 2 or 3 commentaries on the Blu-ray. And then I've found myself just popping it in. I watched it again for this show. But it's just such an interesting movie. It's definitely a comedy, a dark comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely.
Well, it wasn't supposed to, which we'll get. I think I have that fact down later when we go through the. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be, actually.
So, and it's just a very. I was telling Brian even before the show, before we started recording, I was like, this is such an interesting movie, and some of the choices they make, it's just. It doesn't go where you would expect it. Motel Hell, you think, okay, it's just going to be a. Sort of like a Texas Chainsaw thing, is this body count going through.
Yeah.
Which
it starts that way. You almost think that's how it's going to start.
Right. But then you have all these weird subplots and stuff that they're just strange. But we'll get to that. So basically what we have is we have Farmer Vincent. He lives with his sister Ida. And they kind of run like this roadside meat. He runs like a meat market thing. I guess he vends meat and stuff. He sells like meat sets. What do you call it?
Yeah, like
set
beef jerky and and it's a hotel and a motel at the same time. So he's like multitasking here with what he.
Right. I was trying to think of what you call a gift basket of meats, but you know what you.
Well, he calls it. He actually has a name. He says, "Try our sampler pack."
Sampler packer. Yeah, something
right?
like that.
He says he calls it. Yeah, he goes, "This is what everyone wants. Only $2.95. Now $2.95 barely buys you a Slim Jim."
I know.
Shows you the date. Jeez.
But right away, we see him, we start the movie with him laying traps for motorists so that he can kidnap them and turn them into Farmer Vincent fritters, of course. But so he lays a trap for a motorist, and he kind of... What do you think his reasoning was for not killing Terry? Terry is played by Nina Axelrod. She is the main young blonde in the movie, who went on to become a casting director, by the way, which is interesting. She's had a long career as a casting director. But if you haven't, because you really don't see her in a lot of movies after this one.
Yeah, she didn't go into much.
But so he kind of takes pity on her or decides to save her. I don't know what his real motivation was at first.
I'm not sure. There's a whole weird dynamic going on. Because it's like, first of all, I think it's, it's hilarious that you find out, like, literally this guy, you're wondering how, he's got this whole empire of human meats and stuff going on. And you realize the sheriff is his brother.
Right.
I guess.
Clueless sheriff.
Clueless sheriff, yeah, is his brother. Which, you find out later, I guess he left the family at one point because it was, and then he came back. They said he ran away. There's a line he drops later on, but so he's definitely disconnected in that way. And then you have the brother and sister, which is like at first you first see it, you almost think they're like, are they husband and wife?
Right.
Because they're, but they're not like romantic in any way. It's not weird like that. They just have a weird connection anyway. And then, it's hard to describe because, granted, the woman, Nina Axelrod is a very attractive blonde woman that gets, but then when she first kind of, here's the thing. So you got to remember the whole time in this thing, he's quoting like Bible stuff and how he's very religious. So, it's, when he first like kind of goes against her advances, you're wondering like, wait a minute here, is what is he really in there for? But then he says as long as they get married. So I really don't know what he's trying to do, in all honesty. Yeah, basically, sorry, I went a long way to get to that point, but yeah, it's very confusing because you first think he's got an attraction towards her, then it's almost like a fatherly
it's
kind
a
of thing,
dynamic.
But then it's hard to describe. And then it like and then at some point, Ida, you kind of think like, oh, maybe she really does want the best for her, but then she's jealous in a weird way.
Yeah, but anyway,
it's just
I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves. But he basically
he kind of skipped.
he takes Terry back to his motel or his house, and he basically, in a sense, kidnaps this young girl. He tells her her boyfriend, who she was traveling with, died in the car accident, and that he buried the body.
Right, so and that's when you first find out why he gets away with a lot of stuff.
Right, but he's kind of like, oh, you can't leave until you're better, and that kind of thing. And over time, she kind of becomes a willing prisoner. She kind of, I guess she has nowhere else to go, and she kind of becomes charmed by Farmer Vincent and all the kindness he has shown her to rescue her from this car accident and, bury her poor boyfriend and take care of her. So she kind of becomes a willing member of the family at that point.
Well, it definitely, I think her boyfriend seemed to be on the older side too. She might have a thing for older guys, I guess, too.
And Rory Calhoun's definitely charming. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, and he's like this, like, he's kind of like a cool guy. Like, it's like, you're obviously not supposed to be on his side because he's slitting people's throat and burying them in the ground and using for meat. But there's something about him that you're like, hey, he's a cool guy. I think I can hang out with him for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like, he's got a nice motel, feeds you free beef jerky,
Yeah, so basically the way they harvest these people is just so bizarre, and it's one of the things that just still creeps me out about this movie to this day. So they bury these poor people up to their necks. They cut their vocal cords so they can't scream, so they just make this.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I guess when he feels they're ripe, he hypnotizes them.
Oh, that thing is talk about one of the most bizarro scenes in this movie that you just would not expect.
Yeah, he hypnotizes them with this machine with a pinwheel and these flashing lights to kind of like calm them down. And then he basically just takes a rope and pulls their heads off, right?
Yeah,
it's so
yanks
weird.
them out.
Oh,
and
gosh.
You notice who one of those was? Like, is Cheers?
Yeah.
Alum John Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
Cliff Clavin.
Yeah, he makes a cameo appearance as a head in Motel Hell.
Yeah, he does not. I don't think he has a line.
No, it is. It's like.
Oh yeah, he does go. And I think he also had one that said like, "Hey Norm, I'm stuck here in the ground." But yeah, but I think they cut that one out.
Yeah, that was on the deleted scenes, but.
Yeah, you got to look for that one on the disc. But yeah, no. So so funny. He just appears in so many movies as like a really quick role back then.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, like, of course, Empire Strikes Back.
Toy Story.
Superman 2. I mean, he was in, like, the sequels of all sequels there and stuff. But, yeah, so he, but yeah, so, yeah, that was, I remember that used to freak me out, too, when you first saw the neck slit and they would go,
yeah, it's very
that
creepy.
was kind of creepy.
It's still creepy, as many times I've seen this movie.
That is true. It doesn't ever become less creepy.
No. Ida, who's wonderful.
Oh my God, she's the best.
She starts to become a little jealous of Terry because Vincent is showing a lot of affection towards Terry, and even though it's sort of like a weird, more fatherly affection, I would say, at least at the beginning, Ida gets very jealous. So she hatches a plan. She's going to kill Terry.
Yeah. Well, I think at one point he implies he wants to basically show her the ropes. As almost so she probably feels like she's kind of gonna get ousted,
right?
But I'm wondering if he's setting it up for when he's gone, so someone to take over. Because remember, he kind of always had it as like, oh, the Lord's work kind of thing. So I'm wondering if that's maybe where that was.
At the end of the movie, you kind of realize that too. But
he kind of has that. But yeah.
So Ida takes Terry out tubing on a lake. And
that scene is so random.
It's such a random,
ever go
weird
tubing?
Scene. And decides she's gonna like take a razor and slit her tube. And Terry can't. She knows Terry's not a strong swimmer, so she's hoping that Terry will drown. It'll look like an accident, but she accidentally slits her own tube and almost drowns.
I thought she did that on purpose. I thought she did that on purpose to try and get her to go in there and then kind of push her down, like when she went to go save her or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I just watched it and I thought that she just set her hand down and just accidentally.
So I'll
have to go back and watch that.
Because I always thought, it's funny. I remembered it the way you told it, but when I just saw it, I was like, oh, I always thought she hit the other girls too, but I mean, I hadn't, like I said, I hadn't seen it in a while. And of course, it's a nice opportunity for the '80s to, of course, show a nice wet T-shirt on.
Yeah, there's some cleavage
on
here.
Nina Axelrod. Yeah.
But anyway, the point is she's trying to kill Terry, but Vincent ends up saving her, and this produces one of the weirdest parts of the movie where Terry basically falls in love with Vincent. Even though he's like way her senior. It's a very weird moment.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you look at her view, now he's saved her life twice.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. And he is charming. I mean.
Yeah.
But, so you have this weird thing. But, of course, he turns down her advances because he wants to be married first. And he's he's a very biblical man. There's also some weird, like, sub-characters in here. Wolfman Jack makes an appearance as a preacher.
Wolfman Jack. Yeah, baby.
He's got some funny cameos in here.
Oh, him when he takes the porno magazine, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
I just like he's like, "Whoa, my.
I need to dispose of this properly."
Yeah, into his bag.
You have the best has got to be the swinger couple.
Oh my god!
So a swinger couple shows up at the hotel, and like these are like I was like, what are these? What are these people doing?
I want to know what they want to do with Farmer Vincent and Ida.
I know It's a very strange scene. It's hilarious, though.
Yeah, it really is. Especially their reactions to it when they're trying to pretend they're in on it and they know what they're talking about. They're like, "Oh yeah, sure." That is a classic sequence.
So between all these weird characters showing up and these subplots, you have Farmer Vincent still laying traps for motorists. So he does kill some other motorists. I wish I could remember that song they're playing. There's a rock band that he the Cliff
Clavin 5.
That he captures that are singing some song in the van that's hilarious. I was going to try to remember it for the show so I could like reproduce it, but I forgot it now.
Especially in that scene, it cracks me up when they're all playing and they're all enjoying themselves, and you just see the van go whoa.
Yeah. So in between that, he's still gathering bodies for his garden and for his meat production, and
he's got quite an empire. He's got that whole barn set up where it's almost where he uses some of the pig meat, of course, but it's like that's basically most people think that's where his meat comes from solely is those pigs.
Yeah. So basically, the end part of the movie, you start coming to this final climax, and a lot of things happen to like lead to this. So you have Bruce, who's his brother, who's a sheriff. He starts getting suspicious.
And he also has a crush on Terry.
Yes, there's also a subplot where he's been trying to woo Terry, who doesn't want to have anything to do with him. You have some of the people escape from the garden. It's at one point.
I always was confused. Was that the guy? Was that Terry's boyfriend that is the one that finally gets out of there, or is that just a different guy?
It's Bo.
You never really get a good look at his face.
Yeah, it's Bo. Whoever. That was
Bo is Terry's boyfriend.
Bo is Terry's boyfriend. So yeah.
Okay, so it was him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you have this, and then at the same time, Vincent's going to tell Terry everything that he's been doing. So he's going to kind of clue her in. So you have all this stuff happening at the end, and you have this giant climax, which has Farmer Vincent in the pig head.
Yes.
Thing, which is kind of an iconic, famous thing. And Brian, tell him about the Fangoria.
Yeah, so I mean, anyone, it's funny because I remember this cover because usually in Fangoria ads, when they'd show like some of the old magazines, this one would always kind of be in there, I kind of remember. And so basically there was a still that was on the cover with Farmer Vincent wearing the bloody pig's head and that chainsaw, and it was on the cover. But it's funny because for some reason, they don't know why, but that issue had really poor sales. Maybe it was because they didn't know what the movie was from, or it was horrifying to some at the time, although I don't know what you expect on the cover of Fangoria. But anyway, so that issue now has become one of the rarest and priciest back issues of Fangoria ever. So,
interesting.
And I remember seeing that. Like, I remember that cover. And because like I said, in other ads for Fangoria, and I've seen it at conventions, I don't think I ever quite noticed that it was more expensive. But so that was, so I found that on IMDb as one of our, we have some more facts, but that was a good timing to put that one in, especially because we're getting to that iconic scene right now.
Yeah. So basically the people from the garden that got free, they go after Ida.
That scene is hilarious when she's fending them off.
Terry Vincent puts her. She, of course, is horrified when she finds out that the sausage is made out of human flesh.
Yes.
So he ties her to a conveyor belt, headed towards is that a saw or something. He's got her
it's something
tied
right out of like Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah, he ties her to a conveyor belt. Then he's got the pig mask and the chainsaw, and he starts fighting Bruce, his brother. And so there's a big chainsaw duel, which is awesome.
Seriously, it's like a lightsaber battle, but with chainsaws.
Yeah. So
It
finally,
reminds
but basically, Bruce triumphs in the fight. Vincent goes down and
kind of ends up chainsawing himself.
Right, and so then you have kind of a Terry and Bruce. The movie ends with basically them kind of riding off into the sunset. I think Ida gets buried.
Yeah, she got buried
head first.
Yeah, her legs are sticking out. With her socks.
And so it's just a weird, wacky movie, but there's some kind of charm to it. And Brian, it took this last viewing for me to really appreciate the soundtrack. Like the score is really, really good.
Yeah, this is just it's, you look at it now compared to today's modern movies and, you may not get this, but, if you look at it, it was just a really well-made movie with stuff like that. Like, it was just had a really cool like setting to it. It had great performances and great music. So it was really just it's definitely one, like, I think it would be in my like, I'll say like a candy bowl dish for horror movies. Like, if like someone asked me like, what kind of movie they're looking for, and if they were trying to say, well, I want something horror but maybe a little horror comedy type of thing, that would be one of my first picks to hand them. Say, here, try this one, because it's just got so much stuff in it that is just entertaining. True, it's very light on the scariness, so to speak, but as a kid I remember it freaked me out with
yeah.
So, I mean,
but I think you can appreciate it on different levels. Like, granted, it's not truly a scary horror film, but you can appreciate it on that, like, wink, wink, nod, nod, funny kind of satirical horror movie aspect of it. So I don't know. I love it for some reason. I find it charming. I love Rory Calhoun.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of my favorites of all time. It's right up there with with some of the other great horror movies for me for the 80s. I mean, the 80s, so many people have said that's like one of the golden ages of it, and it's like this one is no exception. It's like right there.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And if at all possible, please pick up that Scream Factory Collector's Edition, because it has got a ton of extra. It took me forever to get through that disc.
Yeah, and I actually watched a bunch of those, the little featurettes.
Yeah, they're
really
great.
Good.
They're really, really good. I mean, I say it took me forever, but it was not a chore in any means. Like, I really enjoyed going through all the commentaries and everything. It was great.
Yeah, I think I want to go back and start watching some of the commentaries, but even the little behind the scenes, none of them are particularly long, which is good. So you can get through a lot of them, and there's just a lot of good insight in them. So it's like one of those discs that if you're especially if you're a fan of the movie, it's a no-brainer, absolutely a no-brainer. But if you just want a good a good example of a really great horror movie and a great presentation on disc with a lot of good features, this is another marquee piece.
I would say even if you've never seen the movie, you could buy that disc sight unseen and get your money's worth for sure.
Yeah, easily. And I remember I picked it up when it was on, I think it was on a sale for like $19.99, which is like, I mean, that's, to me, that's like, or no, I think it was like the $16.99. Remember when some of those Scream Factories were all like $16.99 on Amazon? That's when I picked it up. That's right. So I mean, for that price, it's like that's like a steal.
Yeah,
it's a steal at $16.99. I mean, it's worth the full price of. I've seen it for like $29, I think. So, but whatever it is, it's. I would just go. I pick it up. Like Tim said, you could get it sight unseen and be completely satisfied.
So, Brian, you had a great beer pairing for this one.
Oh, did you want to go through some of the little trivia pieces we found?
We did have a few. Yeah, we did. There's a few we didn't mention. Actually, you're right. We already mentioned that the original script was more dark and disturbing. But one that I did not know was that Tobe Hooper was originally going to direct this movie for Universal Studios, but Universal Studios declined the project, and Hooper departed when Universal Studios turned it down. That's kind of cool.
It was kind of interesting. And this one I found interesting because I'm torn, because I say it would never change, especially Rory Calhoun was so good as a Farmer Vincent, but apparently Harry Dean Stanton was originally approached to play Farmer Vincent, but he turned it down. He may have been the only other person I think I could see in that role.
I know. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
I mean, like I said though, I don't want to change. Leave things the way they are because it's a near perfect movie the way it is. But like, I guess if there was like somehow someone went back in time and altered this movie and they changed time, they better make sure that if for some reason they alter the course of history and Rory Calhoun is not available, they better get Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah,
but
so, I think we already mentioned the Fangoria cover and
right, yeah, we did that one.
But yeah, that would be an interesting cast change there. I could see that though. I could see it.
So just to let you know, it's now currently $19.99 on Amazon.
Yeah, that's a good price for it.
No excuse.
Well worth it. Well worth it.
Prime, you free shipping.
Yeah,
go get it.
All right, so the beer pairing this week, Brian, was awesome.
Yes. So
especially with the brewery name.
Yeah, the brewery sealed it. So the beer name is Ida, which is of course Nancy Parsons' amazing portrayal as the sister Ida, and the brewery is Fat Bottom Brewing, and Ida is not exactly.
She's buxom, let's say.
Yeah, she's buxom. She's a little not exactly shapely. But so that was I thought that was perfect. And now here's the thing: the description does not necessarily describe the Ida in the movie.
No.
But anyway, it's a 6.2%. It's a 6.2% ABV. So it's subtle sweetness with a clean finish. Not Ida at all in the movie. But this beer apparently is, and it says the smooth Pilsner malt and delicate European hops create a unique twist on a golden ale. Refreshingly light in body and delightfully thirst-quenching. Ida is sure to satisfy. Well, that, I will say, is like the movie, because Ida satisfied us in the movie by being hilarious.
Yeah, so, okay, I can see it.
So, yeah.
So, last week, well, not last week, but the week before, we had a 6 Degrees of Decapitation. We asked you to connect Carl Gabriel York to Michael York. So, Carl Gabriel York was in Idle Hands with Mindy Sterling. And Mindy Sterling was in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me with Michael York.
I think they were also in the first one, too, technically.
Yeah. Isn't there a rumor there's a new Austin Powers coming out?
There is.
Yeah.
So there is. Apparently they're working on Austin Powers 4. So.
Wow. I love those movies. I really do.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding? I'll see anything with Mike Myers in it.
Yeah.
He was great in Bohemian Rhapsody, too. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
He's brilliant. He plays like that. He's kind of like he's not the... his character is kind of an amalgam of a couple of characters, I guess, in the movie as one of the record producers, but he's really funny in it. He's like, yeah, and even like movies like Inglourious Bastards when he's in that little sequence and he just goes, Veronica von Hammersmark, just that smirk he does as he says it. It's like, it's just he's like, I'll watch him in anything pretty much. Yeah,
I mean, so. I love that the Austin Powers movies just embraced what they were. Like, they didn't try to, like, that's just what they were. You either got it or you didn't. You either were along for the ride or you weren't. And they just went for it. So I like that.
Yep. And the best is they kept upping their game. Every like more characters Mike Myers could play.
Yeah.
more crazy and zaniness. And it was just, and I don't care if they literally played the same jokes over and over again, pretty much through 3 movies. I still loved it.
Yeah. So the current week, we're going to ask you to connect Nancy Parsons to Big Bang Theory's Jim Parsons.
Yes.
So can you do that? You can do it in 2. I can't believe that.
I know. This one, I mean, well, I wouldn't say it's a cheat because they both get credit in the movie that the eventual link, but still, it's not. I'll give you a hint. It's not necessarily in like live action form is the final connection.
Okay,
so there's a little hint.
All right, guys. So next week, of course, we kick off the holiday season with our Christmas horror movies. We haven't decided what we're going to do yet.
No, there's a couple of it we haven't. We have I know at least 3 or 4 that we're deciding for there should be 3 we'll get through.
Yeah.
But we know like probably one might be Red Christmas. We discussed
Rare Exports. Possibly.
Yeah.
If you guys have any suggestions, definitely.
I saw that other one, Secret Santa, which looked kind of cool.
Yeah, that one did look cool. Yeah.
So that one's like So I mean, we got a lot.
If you guys have ones we want to cover, definitely give us a tweet or hit us on Facebook or Gmail. We are also going to do our holiday gift guide.
Yes, our second annual holiday gift guide.
So
I've already collected a lot of good stuff for this. I'm going to finalize it this week. So when we record next week, we're going to have a nice big list with hopefully some links and stuff for you to to get on, because we realized it's like this holiday season kind of snuck up. I tell you, Thanksgiving where it was this year messed everything up.
It really did. With the hurricane too, with me especially.
Right.
And then you had the weird early Thanksgiving, and it was all messed up.
And now it's like by when you're listening to this episode, you're about to hit December. What happened to November? Really, I swear.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, bizarre.
Anyway.
And like I said, I'm gonna tease what we have. We have something very ambitious and hopefully epic for our holiday extravaganza and our season 2 finale before we go on our little break. It's definitely something that I've always kind of wanted to do. And I think we could definitely pull it off. It's just it's how long you'll sit through it.
Exactly.
The key.
It will be mostly for our own entertainment, but if you want to join us, feel free.
Yes, I think I like that. We may have some surprises in there. Who knows what we'll have? But I have a lot of crazy ideas. I haven't even talked to Tim about yet. That are just rolling around my head to feature in that episode. So this could be a winner. But
so one thing I wanted to do, Brian, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I just haven't gotten around to it. Is I wanted to give a shout out to people who have reviewed us on iTunes. We occasionally ask for those iTunes reviews, and we've had some people come through. So we're going to put out a challenge that if you want to get your name on the Civil Gore podcast and get a shout out from us, leave us an iTunes review and leave us a comment too. Like, leave us an actual review, not just a rating, so we know your name, and we'll give you a shout out. And I think at some point, Brian, when we get enough of these, I think we need to draw a winner and send them a nice goodie bag. I've been collecting stuff for the so-called prize closet, so I could send a pretty decent goodie bag of different cool horror things.
And that Paul Blart 2 is still waiting.
That's right. Yeah.
I think we owe it to Cody, though, anyway.
Cody's got to get Paul Blart 2.
Yeah, she gets Paul Blart 2 regardless.
I might dig up an extra copy of Paul Blart 2, though, for the other lucky winner.
So we'll own both?
Yeah.
Civil Gore will own both copies.
We'll own both copies.
Wow.
Yeah, Paul Blart 2 actually was a preview trailer for one of my kids' DVDs the other day.
Okay.
I was like,
you must have just
I just started laughing as soon as it came on. But okay, so
probably the only time that movie got a laugh.
I'm going to go through the ratings of the people that have left us iTunes ratings so far. So if you have not left us a rating, leave us a review, and at some point, probably after the holidays, we're going to pick one lucky winner to receive a Civil Gore prize pack.
Yes.
So here we go. First up, Only Miss Cody left us our first review, 5 stars. Actually, all of these are 5 stars, by the way. So thank you, Cody. Big Boom KC comes in, called us masterfully hilarious. So I don't know which show he was listening to. He must have reviewed the wrong one.
We're masterfully something. I don't know if it's hilarious.
Love it, says Mardigan. Mad Mardigan? M-A-R-D-G-N.
Oh, yeah, maybe Mardigan, yeah.
Awesome cast, says Muster Nefarious.
I actually know who left that review. It was supposed to be Mr. Nefarious. It was a typo.
Oh, okay, so Mr. Nefarious. Sorry.
Because they told me, one of my friends.
Thinking, I was like, Mustard? Really?
Yeah. This is my friend from work who listened to
There's another one I know, Grapesly, but
Yes.
I always call it Grapesly. I read it as Grapesly. I'm sorry.
I do too, but it's really Grapesly.
It's really Grapesly. And he said Civil Gore Me. He's got one of the funnier reviews on there.
Yes, he does.
Windshark, one of the best horror movie podcasts, is what Windshark says about us. And
Thank you, Windshark.
Yeah, a first-rate horror podcast is what Dave6906 tells us. Dave's a great friend of the show.
Yes,
we've had some communication went back and forth, so we really appreciate David's kind words. So if you want a shout-out on the show, please leave us a rating, a review, 5 stars if you can swing it. If you can bear to give us that 5 stars, it'd be awesome. It puts our show in iTunes, makes us more visible for other listeners, makes us make the show better, and it puts you in the running for that prize box. So,
yes, you know what we should start doing? Maybe start also teasing some of the contents of that prize box. Perhaps
that's right. Well, I can
maybe
give
a
you,
little, maybe a little more enticing.
I'll give you a hint right now. I've got in my hand a original Halloween 2 refrigerator magnet.
Oh.
That's kind of cool,
Not
right?
Bad. Yeah, you know, when I'm at WinterCon, maybe I might be able to find some interesting items there to add to that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of little goodies like that, like little trinkets and things that are just kind of neat that I could give away. So we'll put a whole box together for you, and a good movie. We'll not just Paul Blart 2. We'll put a good movie in there for you too. So
yes, and perhaps we'll pack it up in Kurt Russell's sack and
Yes. All right. Well, we're out of here, guys. We'll see you
Yes.
back here next week. Go watch Kurt Russell's Sack. It is amazing.
Yes, I think I'm going to go watch that immediately because I have not seen it yet.
And we'll see you back here next week.
See you later.